Hello, I'm Paul Neat and welcome to episode 5 of Korean Football Shinmun. There's been quite a lot happening over the weekend in K-League 1 and K-League 2, both ends of the table in both divisions. And also there's international football to look forward to when Korea, of course, in action against Georgia in Turkey and then against Turkmenistan for their first World Cup qualifier. But first, let's have a look at what happened at the weekend in K-League 1. The only newspaper to give the front page to K-League was Sports Donga. They said that Jose Maurice's determination was communicated or transferred through, referring to Jeonbuk's 2-0 win over FC Seoul. It was enough to put them back at the top of the K-League 1 table. It says at the top there in yellow, September's Legends match, which is referring to Jeonbuk versus FC Seoul. Jeonbuk beat Seoul to regain the lead at the top. However, in Sports Chosun, they went more for a Seoul angle. Lost again. A depressing Legends match for FC Seoul. Jeonbuk now 16 games without defeat in the league, 11 wins, 6 draws. However, FC Seoul up against Jeonbuk are now without a win in their last 8, and that is humiliating. In Sports Seoul, they have gone with Jeonbuk, of course, for their main piece on this page. They're saying that in the space of 90 minutes, the league leader changed 5 times. That was because Ulsan's away trip to Incheon United that ended in a 3-3 draw with a very dramatic ending was played at the same time as Jeonbuk's 2-0 win over FC Seoul on Sunday. They said that the lead changed 5 times in the space of 90 minutes, but it was Jeonbuk who were left smiling. At the top there, it talks about Hwang Hee-jo. He's obviously plying his trade in the French First Division at the moment. He just moved there from Gamba Osaka, but he's saying that he's playing in an unfamiliar position, but he's just trying to adjust to what the manager wants. In Sports Chosun, they've given all this page to mostly K-League and a bit of Korean national team at the side. For this one, it's for Paulo Bento. His challenge is to guide South Korea to their 10th consecutive World Cup finals. But here, they've at the top of the page, they've gone for Gangwon against Gyeongnam. They're saying it's a dagger from an Lee Jok-seng, which perhaps means somebody who likes a transfer. Lee Young-jae, he scored again, this time for Gangwon against Gyeongnam. He only moved to Gyeongnam from Ulsan just over the winter, but after just 6 months, he was part of the deal which saw Uros Jeric trade Chuncheon for Changwon. Also further down in K-League 2, the playoff ticket battle. Suwon FC versus Jeonnam. They played out a 2-2 draw, and so nobody was left smiling after that one. In Sports Donga, they've gone with a headline referring to Migosa's hat-trick. A hat-trick explosion saves Incheon. Migosa, of course, he's almost single-handedly keeping Incheon alive. They aren't at the bottom of the table. That is, of course, Jeju United. And Incheon fought back on several occasions to earn themselves a valuable point against the K-League title chasers Ulsan Hyundai. But just further down in the middle of this page, Hwang Hee-chan, who has been called up to the Korean national team for the forthcoming games against Georgia and Turkmenistan. He's now scored 3 goals in as many games. And he says, please do this for Bento's Taeguk Warriors. And also in K-League 2, it's referring here to Seoul Elan's hot August. At Jamsil, they managed to pick up 3 wins, 1 draw and just 1 defeat. Suddenly they found some confidence. In that game, they fought their way back from 3-0 down against Busan I Park on Saturday to earn themselves a huge point. Now then, to the Korean national team more specifically, we have this one in Sports Gyeonghang. big spread at the top of the page there, referring to just how much the Korean national team has changed. It says a complete overhaul, and the national team system of duty has changed. It's got some players there in the foreground of this picture, mainly Hwang In-bom and Hwang Hee-chan, some of the new guard, alongside Son Heung-min, who is expected to captain Korea for this forthcoming World Cup qualifying campaign. But at the bottom of this page, some column inches have been given to Woo Chan-yang. He is a defender who was on loan from Suwon FC, so at Suwon FC from Pohang Steelers, but he was arrested last month for drink driving. Now, as soon as this all happened, he was sent back to Pohang from Suwon FC, and he's been given a 15-game ban. And also he's been fined 4 million won, which is around 3,200 US dollars. But the headline says, drink driving is detestable, but what will happen to him in the future? At the bottom of this article, there's a statement from somebody at Pohang Steelers, a representative from Pohang, and it says, whilst the club recognises how bad of a crime this is to commit, even still, this is a player who we have nurtured since he was very young. And so for the sake of the player's future, we aren't sure as to whether we can just give up on him. It's a concern, but in time we hope to find a solution. Then in Sports Seoul, they are saying that the flight is as tough as nails. That is referring to the trip which Paulo Bento and his team will make, or trips I should say, because they flew to Turkey from Korea, which is around 6,000 kilometers and an 8-hour flight, I believe. And this headline is suggesting that the flights will be more of a burden on the team than the game itself, especially given the FIFA rankings. Turkmenistan are currently 132nd in the FIFA rankings. Korea are now 37th. So it should be a foregone conclusion, the result, but the flight may hinder them somewhat. Underneath here it says, in case Korea come up against some dense defences, then Georgia will be a perfect sparring partner for Bento's team, who do struggle to break tight defences down, according to this. To some of the online news, in Sportal Korea, Jeonbuk manager Jose Moraes spoke about the back three that he shifted to for the win over FC Seoul. He said that it was tactical, it was something that he had noticed from analysing FC Seoul's videos, because he noticed that Seoul create a lot of situations where there's one-on-one, and he said that his players are particularly strong in these kind of scenarios, and he believed that it was something that his team could exploit. Now, Jeonbuk's second goal, which saw Moon Son-min one-on-one with the defender, squared it across to Lopez, who swept the ball home, is the kind of thing which Jose Moraes is talking about. Speaking to Sports Genius, Chae Young-soo said that the performance was not very FC Seoul-like. Not sure if he's referring to FC Seoul of the past or in recent months, because Seoul are on a bit of a dismal run of form at present, just one win in their last 6. But he was very angry after a poor first half display. He also said, when asked about the difference between FC Seoul and Jeonbuk Hyundai, it's a bicycle cannot keep up with a motorbike. That was his assessment. But he did seem pleased at the news that Ju Se-jong and Lee Myung-ju are back with the team. They were on loan as part of their military service with Assam and Gungwa. However, they will be ready for the Gyeongin derby against Incheon in a few weeks. He said that obviously he knows a lot about Ju Se-jong. He's worked with him before, but Lee Myung-ju isn't someone that he's too familiar with, and so he's had to call former FC Seoul manager Hwang Sun-hong to get the lowdown on the former Pohang Steelers midfielder. In terms of Ulsan Hyundai, Kim Do-hoon, the manager, said that a draw felt like a defeat, speaking to My Daily. And of course, with the 3-3 draw against Incheon, Incheon's Stefan Magosa, speaking to Footballist, he said that Incheon have what it takes to stay in K-League 1 this season. Incheon, of course, have become the serial escape artists, and aren't bottom of the league at the moment. That is, of course, Jeju United, who sit at the bottom of K-League 1. And finally, in Sports Donga, they have an article about some communication issues with Hwang Hee-jo and his new team, Bordeaux, in the French First Division. It says, understand communication through pictures can help create a friendly relationship. Paulo Sousa, who will deliver his team talks in French and then English, but will also use pictures to try and explain what he wants of his new striker. Something that the agent of Hwang Hee-jo has said has been taking place. Well, that's it for me this week, so thank you very much for tuning in for this extended episode of Korean Football Shinmun. If you did like the video, then please don't forget to subscribe. Any shares, comments, likes, all that are all greatly appreciated. So once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.